So people have been able to hear a difference in the audio in the last several episodes. That is, of course, because I am traveling for work again, but I'm all super secret about what I've been traveling for. And I am finally going to let our listeners know what I've been up to. So, a couple of years ago now, I started this rock band that has become very popular, and I've been touring across the country. This has been the longest tour I've had yet, and it's been great. I've seen a lot of great shows, but it's getting old. If anybody wants to support my band, you might have heard of it. It's 60 Seconds to Uranus.
Jacob.
What? There's layers to that joke. I might have also started my own cult.
You know, if I start making any jokes, they're just all gonna be very bad. I'm just gonna butt joke, butthole joke.
It takes longer to get to Uranus than it does to Mars. That's my only point.
60 seconds to urine.
So stupid. It's so stupid.
It gets better the more you think about it, though.
He's not bad. Idea.
Jared Leto is the joke here.
Yes.
Why buy a comic that might cost more than a dime?
Jared Leto is a fucking pedo.
Come meet the brothers who are here to waste your time.
Welcome back to the Dime Comic Bros podcast. I am Spencer, joined by Jacob and Collin.
Hello.
We are here to talk about nerd shit and mostly rag on Jacob for whatever reason.
Because
I post-talk justify my bullying.
You think of a better opening joke.
Jared Leto looking ass.
All right, that's fair.
That was great. I still trust you more around my kids.
Now, see, that's a joke in and of itself because you're not going to have kids.
You should use that one, though. That's good.
We're talking the news this week?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fuck my asshole.
No.
I agree.
I'll call my buddy Jared. Okay. From Marvel.com. First teased last year at San Diego Comic-Con, the time has finally come to reveal what writer Jonathan Hickman and artist Malario Sheedy have planned for Marvel Comics. This fall, the forces at the heart of the Marvel Universe will be stunningly reimagined and evolved in a new series from two of the industry's most brilliant minds. Over the last decade, Hickman has boldly transformed the worlds of the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, and the X-Men. Gods, Gods, will mark his most ambitious undertaking to date, dramatically reshaping Marvel's pantheon of cosmic beings and the entities behind the very fabric of reality. Known for his outstanding work on events like Empire and AXE Judgment Day, acclaimed artist Valerio Sheedy will join Hickman to bring forth this epic journey into the unknown. Together, along with master colorist Marta Gracia, the team will build a new Marvel mythology overflowing with daring concepts, intricate systems, and fascinating new characters, some of whom have been in action long before your favorite Marvel heroes. At last year's New York Comic-Con, fans got a glimpse at the new cast in early concept art, but who are they really? And what catastrophe finally draws them out of the shadows? Meet Wynn, a mysterious player in a war that exists outside the orders we know and a vital member of an eons-old hierarchy that includes the omnipotent rulers of the universe, such as Eternity, Infinity, and the Living Tribunal. After a fateful meeting with Doctor Strange, Wynn hints at something even bigger than the forces of good and evil, where the very building blocks of creation scheme and clash. It's the beginning of a breathtaking epic at the crossroads of science and magic, one that will shatter our understanding and open our eyes to ideas beyond all that we perceive. What happens when the powers that be meet the natural order of things? You wouldn't believe us if we told you. Be among the first to dive into this extraordinary new series on May 6th with a special preview in Free Comic Book Day, Avengers X-Men 1.
Cool.
I agree. Cool, I guess.
Yeah.
I have no idea where this is going other than motherfucker just thinks he's Grant Morrison, but whatever, fine. That's fine. I don't care.
I mean,
Like, Marvel
he
could
kinda
use
is
some...
this era's Morrison, but
A little bit.
he only revived the X-Men. Don't worry about it. It's nothing.
That is true. The I just don't know what sort of big stuff he's got in his pocket, because despite the Marvel universe being really dumb sometimes and less cohesive than the DC universe, especially like the cosmology and the hierarchy stuff, I don't know where they're gonna go with this. But to be fair, yeah, Hickman just pulled some really weird shit out of his ass to make like the X-Men good again, kind of.
I bet Jonathan Hickman has one really big thing in his pocket.
Yeah, probably. Considering this has been in the works for a few years, it's probably very big. It goes from I can't. There's no.
The only problem is it leans a little to the left.
Oh my god,
Is there something big in his pocket, or is he just happy to see us?
Jacob, is that a problem?
That was a political joke.
I like it when they lean to the left.
Collin.
Anyway,
Okay, well, moving on. So I'm done with this. From comicbook.com, it has been years since we heard from Scott Pilgrim, but the cult hero is ready to make a comeback to the screen. Yes, you heard right. Scott Pilgrim versus the World lives on. Today, Netflix announced with director Edgar Wright that Scott Pilgrim is returning to the screen with a full-blown anime. Oh, no. And yes, the television series will return. And yes, the television series will feature the original cast from Wright's live-action film. I did hear about this before this. Yes, you read that right. Fucking cocksuckers. Wright took to Twitter to share the big news with fans today about Scott Pilgrim. It turns out Scott Pilgrim, the anime, is being worked on by Science Saru right now with Netflix. And of course, no one is more excited about this adaptation than Wright himself. Quote, "This is not a drill. This is happening. After much musing over the years about there being potential for an anime adaptation of Scott Pilgrim, I'm thrilled to say one is imminent with the whole cast back together and ... you are going to lose your minds," end quote, the director shared. Quote, "One of the proudest, most enjoyable..." Yeah, I did read that. Just cut that out.
Nope.
Quote, "One of the most proudest..." Oh, wow. I just want to go home. Quote, "One of the proudest, most enjoyable achievements of my career was assembling the dynamite cast of Scott Pilgrim. Since the film's release in 2010, we've done Q&As and charity read-throughs, but there was never the occasion to reunite the gang on an actual project until now," end quote.
I have never watched or read any of this universe, so I don't have anything to add to this.
Wow,
I don't know.
I'm kind of impressed by that, honestly.
I know. Usually the cult corridor is my... I don't have another C word.
We have some... Do we have some art shown for this already? Like,
I don't think so.
because if it's an anime, that kind of feels weird. I feel like they would just do the show in like the art style of the books.
The book is like half manga, so
No, it's manga, but it's not like... Is that technically a style of anime or a style of manga or manga anime art? Would that be classified?
no, it's American, but it has like
No.
heavy. It has very heavy.
I
Manga.
know, that's what I'm saying. It's like how Vox Machina is literally in like Young Justice. They're like variants of anime, but they're not fucking anime.
Yeah, so they're just gonna crank it up to an 11. It makes sense to me
Okay.
intuitively. That's the thing with this that I'm not very excited because I actually don't like Scott Pilgrim. which seems to be contentious, I guess. I don't know. It's a really well made movie, and the performances are really solid. But I didn't really like the books that much either. It just there's something about the like excessively unlikable protagonist loser that really doesn't appeal to me, and that's probably another reason I don't like most manga books. They're the protags are just fucking losers.
That's why I enjoyed that movie the first time, and like pretty much the only time I watched it. But I understand what the message is, and a lot of people that really like this movie don't seem to understand that the whole point is that he's a shit, or
shit.
or I misread and the writers just accidentally didn't realize that their character was shit. But yeah, that's it. There's no but. I was gonna comment on the anime thing.
Kumquat.
Yeah.
I got a picture of some the other day at the market, and I've been meaning to send it to you all week.
Damn.
Come.
You will have to put that on the socials because it's staying in the episode.
Very nice.
Comic book dot kumquat.
From
.com.
Polygon.kumquat. Movie fans may have to wait until late 2024 for Marvel Studios' Blade to hit theaters, but for comic book fans, the adventures of the Daywalker will continue very soon indeed. Courtesy of Marvel Comics, Polygon can reveal that a new Blade series kicks off this summer in comic shops everywhere. Brian Hill, known for Killmonger, Batman and the Outsiders, is set to write the new ongoing series with art by Elena Casagrande, known for Black Widow and Trial of the Amazons, and that's a pretty good combo. Hill is a great adventure writer with a smart sense of character. Casagrande draws some of the best fight scenes in modern superhero comics. I think that the first goal of drawing a fight scene is to let it be powerful and fluid at the same time, Casagrande told Polygon via email. I see fighting like dancing, so my first thought is always about choreography and then the movements that I need to make strong. Obviously, every character needs a different choreography, a different way to fight. It's fun to personalize it, and with Blade, I'm happy to have the chance to use the swords and showcase his strength. What's up with Blade in Marvel Comics today? Well, he was a sheriff of Chernobyl for a bit after Dracula finagled the disaster site into becoming a sovereign vampire nation, and he just met his secret daughter, Brielle Brooks, who's growing into her very own vampire slayer powers. Judging by Marvel's official summary of the first issue, this series will be blazing a new trail, with Blade unknowingly unleashing a dark ancient power and having to deal with the consequences, but we won't know for sure until Blade 1 hits shelves in July. Blade is a treasured character for me, Hill told Polygon. Here we have an opportunity to explore his history, reveal new aspects of his world, and create a story that's brutal, sexy, and bold as it travels into the world of monsters and magic. So
I'm literally shitting myself.
When the article says blazing a new trail in the first issue, that means it's Mephisto confirmed.
Mephisto confirmed.
I'm so excited for this. Blade hasn't had an ongoing in like 15 years, and it got canceled after like 8 issues. I'm so excited.
Actually,
8 issues.
He's a stupid, unpopular character. He's been in the recent Avengers run with Jason Aaron writing for a while as a lead character, but he hasn't had his own run.
Oh, so he's a part of a bunch of shit, but he's just not.
He's one of
That's
those.
so weird.
He's a popular character, but not popular enough to hold his own book. When people see him, they're like, yeah, but they don't go out and buy his own stuff. It's like a Booster Gold, maybe?
Oh,
he's like a big fan favorite, but doesn't sell books.
Actually,
that's so weird
because
he's
Johnny Blaze confirmed.
Wow.
Crickets.
One day we'll get like a live soundboard during episodes.
That'd be so fun.
That'd be obnoxious.
That'd be so fun.
Can you leave the super duper short one for me? Because of shitty cell signal.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I'm next.
Okay, fine.
From HollywoodReporter.com. 15 years after starring in The Incredible Hulk, Liv Tyler, mommy, is making her return to Marvel Studios, The Hollywood Reporter has confirmed. Tyler has joined the cast of Captain America 4, currently titled New World Order. She will reprise the role of scientist Betty Ross. Ross is the daughter of General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, who was portrayed by the late William Hurt in several films, and now will be portrayed by Harrison Ford in the new installment. This is kind of turning into Hulk 2, but I don't really mind that much.
General Thaddeus.
General Fattass. Fat ass.
I'm glad they're bringing her back. I think she voiced her character for What If. I might be wrong on that though, but it's cool that they're finally going back to this character and like this pool of stuff, even though they're doing it in a Captain America movie because they don't have the movie rights for Hulk. Whatever.
I am very, very, very excited about this announcement. I was hoping it would happen in Thunderbolts, so I was close, but I don't know. I'm super happy.
Who has the movie rights for Hulk right now?
Universal, not to produce it, but to distribute it. So Marvel could make it all themselves and they'd be fine. But if they want to put it out anywhere, it becomes a problem. It's a very weird situation, and it's a perpetual one. I don't believe there's no like use clause that it goes back to Marvel after a certain period of time. I don't know on that one, but
Why don't they? So what's their point with that? Why are they trying to? Why did they get them trapped in that?
because do you not know the whole Marvel going bankrupt in the 90s and sold off like all
No.
their shit?
I understand that, but at this point, why aren't they just trying to buy it back? Hulk.
Priorities, probably, because
Apparently-
Hulk is popular but not that popular.
Disney is hurting anyway. They just had a whole bunch of layoffs, so
They've been having some internal issues, and especially with Marvel Studios, despite being one of the biggest things ever, they're still stupid behind the scenes when it comes to stuff. I mean, they didn't even have the rights to Universal had the rights to Namor for a while. That's why they didn't use him up until like 5 minutes ago. Universal had a really weird cast of characters that they haven't used. They just like holding him over Marvel's head. It's very weird.
So weird.
It's bizarre. Mommy.
So from comicbook.com, The Chosen One is destined to debut on wow, I am dyslexic. I actually might be. From comicbook.com, The Chosen One is destined to debut soon on Netflix. The streamer has revealed a new look at its live action series adaptation of Image Comics' American Jesus trilogy of graphic novels, renamed The Chosen One, or El Guido in Spanish, from creators Mark Miller, Kick-Ass, Jupiter's Legacy, and artist Peter Gross, The Books of Magic and Lucifer. The Baja California, Mexico set series follows the titular Chosen One, Jody, who, quote, finds out he's the new Jesus Christ and will grow up to face the Antichrist in the apocalypse. End quote. Wow. Dyslexia. Thank you so much. Quote, relocating American Jesus to Mexico makes the mythological much more authentic and the apocalyptic all the more real. End quote. Miller said in a statement included on the teaser poster. Netflix describes The Chosen One, quote, Jody, a 12-year-old boy in Baja California, suddenly discovers he has Jesus-like powers. He can turn water into wine, make the crippled walk, and perhaps even raise the dead. As the evangelical and
Yeah, I think it's
yokai leaders in town try to get him to use his powers to save mankind, all Jody wants to do is impress the girl he likes and stand up to his bullies. As Jody struggles and eventually comes to terms with his destiny, everything gets thrown for a loop when he realizes he discovers the truth around his identity. Oh, so that's why it's not called American Jesus. Makes more sense. The Chosen One.
yokai is a Japanese thing. I think that was something else.
I'm probably
No.
dumb.
Yeah, because yokai sounds very Japanese.
It does. I don't know, man. So go ahead.
Netflix tried to do Jupiter's Legacy, and it was ass. And I want to say they did another Mark Millar comic recently too.
It was, I
And-
believe, in the same universe as that. They were doing like a whole lineup, and it just kind of fell on its face.
It's horrible. So I have extremely low expectations for this.
I have low expectations but high hopes. It sounds interesting. I find it very fun. So Mark Millar is known to be extremely hit or miss and incredibly insensitive, but in like the stupid himbo way. This description I find very funny because it's like, okay, so on the one hand, it makes it more authentic to focus it on like a country that's still extremely like Catholic. So it makes the mythology feel more real. That makes sense. And then the the second part, the apocalyptic, all more real. And it's like, so sepia tone is what you're telling me. Like it sounds so weird. The statement, the first half makes sense, and then the second half is like something about this feels kind of racist. I don't know why.
Sepia tone?
You know, the like, oh, we're in Mexico now. You know, because you flick the goggles.
Oh my god!
Like that's what it sounds like. Is like it's so apocalyptic because it's a desert. It's like Mexico's not even a desert, but okay.
Actually, I did a show in Tijuana last week, and it was all sepia. All the
Wow.
lights on stage, everything.
Damn, he really do be in Breaking Bad. This looks okay. Like the poster looks kind of cool. It's interesting, at least on base premise. I haven't read the graphic novel, so I have no clue.
I don't really care.
Netflix released the first teaser trailer for Sweet Tooth Season 2, streaming exclusively on Netflix April 27th. Despite looking at the news when Spencer sent it over and him begging us to please watch the one and only trailer included in the news, I saw that it was for Sweet Tooth, and I said I don't care. I watched the first couple episodes and it just didn't hit.
Me too. Yeah. I did not watch it.
I'm hoping that it gets better. It's not bad. Like I think I read the first couple of issues of the comic, and it just wasn't up my alley at the time. I should probably go back to it. I'm about halfway through the first season, and it's just like it. I get it, but the pacing's really weird, and like are either of you, I'm assuming one of the two of you are. You're familiar with Brandon Sanderson, right? The writer?
No.
Really? Not?
I don't think so. I don't believe so.
Wow. Okay.
Give me an example of.
He's like the popular book guy. He's he writes like 5 series all at once. They're extremely technically proficient. He's really good at world building. None of his series are terribly iconic themselves. It's more like it's kind of a cult of personality, but it's not really a cult of personality because the guy's boring as fuck. And so is his writing. Whereas like it's technically proficient and very interesting in that sense. It's not really enjoyable to read in a weird way. And I feel like that's a lot of like Jeff Lemire stuff. Is it makes sense on paper, but like when it comes to actually reading it, it doesn't really hook me that much. And I think the TV show, it was kind of struggling to rectify that. But the trailer looked okay, so I'm hoping by the time I finish season 1, I'll be on board enough to watch the next one.
In an attempt to be fair, it was the first show during or after, I guess, the big COVID scare where it pretty much came out and was like, COVID sucked, huh? And I didn't want to hear it at the time. So that
I
might
remember
have
you
been
talking
my
about that. And the last bit from GameSpot.com. The Man of Steel is returning to small screens later this year as Adult Swim has announced that it will broadcast the new animated series My Adventures with Superman. Originally scheduled to launch on Warner Bros. Discovery's HBO Max streaming service and Cartoon Network, My Adventures with Superman follows 20-something's version of Clark Kent, voiced by Jack Quaid, Lois Lane, Alice Lee, and Jimmy Olsen as they juggle their social lives with their lives at the Daily Planet and Kent's other job as the protector of Metropolis. On the production side, the series will be executive produced by DC veteran Sam Register, Josie Campbell, Jake Wyatt, and Brendan Clower. The show will arrive later in 2023 during Adult Swim's late-night primetime hours and will have reruns on the Toonami block. I'm glad it didn't get canceled. It still doesn't look that appealing to me, but it's good that it's not getting thrown entirely on the back burner. But it makes sense it's also not going with Caped Crusader to Prime. We talked about that one 2 weeks ago. I don't remember if that was
Yeah.
Prime. I think it was Prime.
It's I think. Yeah, Prime.
It's good that they didn't cancel it. Superman. There's no trailers yet, so I don't even know how I feel about it. I'm pretty sure it was just the announcement image, but whatever.
We will
Yeah, I
see
don't
how
know.
I feel after a trailer.
Adult Swim is just very funny to think about that being on there. But Adult Swim has put out a lot of like some of the best adult cartoons to come out in the past few years. So maybe the show is going to be a bit more adult oriented than it looks. Maybe.
My problem with Adult Swim as of late is just that it seems kind of one note. It's like everything's trying to be Rick and Morty.
I
Is
agree.
pretty much how it feels, and it gets really old. So hopefully this breaks the mold.
That'd be good. There's definitely some stuff on there. I mean, they're still running reruns of King of the Hill, but yeah, it's mostly Rick and Morty adjacent products. So it'd be cool to have something to break it up. So moving on to television that we do like. The third episode of Mandalorian season 3 finally came out.
5th episode.
I said fifth.
You said 3rd.
I said third.
You definitely said third.
What? Am I okay?
Nope.
Apparently not. Okay, let's do this in 10 minutes. Yeah, so the 5th episode came out. Navarro gets overrun by pirates, and then an X-Wing pilot who we've seen before is like, that's not good. Let's go get Du Bois. And then Du Bois get together, and then they liberate some people.
The boys and mommy.
And mommy. She's one of Du Bois.
she's the one driving the soccer mom van.
Yes. Mommy.
I really like this episode.
I think this is the best episode of the season
Yes.
so far.
I have a couple of pointed critiques, but the rest of it on the whole, this felt like the better parts of season 2 and like kind of like season 1. It's a actual good episode.
What was it, last week that you were wondering where the show was going to go? I think it's pretty evident now that they're taking back Mandalore.
I figured that would be like the end goal of the show in and of itself. I didn't think they'd be getting to it in season 3. They're going the places where I kind of figured they'd go, but not at the pace that I thought they would, because I thought all of season 3 was going to be, Din being depressed without the baby, and then they fucked that up.
I don't think that we're gonna have them take back Mandalore yet. I think we're gonna have them live on Navarro and see how that goes for a while, and then like really taking back Mandalore would be a season 4 thing.
Yeah, it's probably a season 4 thing. That's what I would do as a season 5. That'd be like your finale of the show. But what do I know?
Taking Back Mandalore is the name of my next punk rock band.
It makes sense.
It does make sense.
I get it. So, okay, my one criticism, and then I can get into all the good bits. I don't understand why they structured so the end bit of this episode where they're like, whoa, look, Gideon didn't actually go to trial. Why the fuck wasn't that the opening of the season? You could have had an actual like mystery for the show. You could have planted. Why the fuck are you doing this?
I know, because they started talking about
the way through the season.
They started talking about that like
last episode.
The episode with what's his face? Scientist dude. Yeah.
2 episodes ago.
Yeah, 2 episodes ago. That's when they started talking about that. But I agree with you. It should have been like literally the beginning.
Right. Like, even if you didn't want it, obviously no one's going to believe, wow, like, is he going to come back? Of course he's going to come back. Like, duh. I think he is still the bad guy for this show. But like, I don't understand why they've structured it like this. The scene itself of the X-Wing pilot discovering the Imperial or ex-Imperial like transport ship is fine. It's just like, why is it like this?
I think they did that because 2 episodes ago you had the really long 3 episodes ago now. They had the really long bookended segment of the Imperial imposter. And so now you find out Moff Gideon isn't dead, and the general audience connects that to the Imperial imposter.
Yeah, like the order of it makes sense. I just don't get the which episodes you put it in. Like, it's not mysterious. It's not. Yeah. It doesn't give it any tension. It's like, well, no shit, he's gonna come back before the end of the season.
Right.
it just it it feels like they couldn't afford to pay Esposito for more than like 2 episodes.
Probably.
Other than that, the rest of this is all good stuff. I really like this episode. Got to see Zeb in live action. I thought he looked pretty good.
I thought he looked pretty good.
Great.
Cute little ape man. I like that they didn't make it a big deal. There wasn't even like that much fanfare, which is nice. I've said this about multiple cameos recently where it's like, oh, cool person. Anyways,
That was what I was gonna say too. Is like he just kind of walked on screen, and it felt like he'd been on the show before. And I was like, did I miss a previous appearance, or are they just relying on us knowing Rebels or whatever?
I just like that you don't even need to know who it is because the show it's just a guy in the bar, like being like,
Yeah.
Lamau, good luck. And
It was very comfortable.
yeah, it just means, oh, we know where he is during this time period because he's gonna pop up in the Ahsoka show because the Ahsoka show is Rebels 2.0. Duh. But Collin,
Mm-hmm.
tell me something good. What'd you like?
Mommy.
Of course.
Mummy Thighs, Short King Mandalorian. Mando stuff was awesome. Like, I like seeing the Mandalorians do stuff. Also, Vizsla is literally him. Why should we sacrifice ourselves for this baby? Because we're fucking Mandalorians. That's why. Let's get this bread.
He's very funny. I like that they're putting him on like almost primary cast,
Mm-hmm.
like head secondary character. It's cool. He's cool. I mean, he's been there since the beginning, but just so little. Whereas he kind of faded into the background pretty easily. But that's cool. There was
Field
one,
Team 6 Mando's awesome.
yes. There's one thing which I thought was really funny. I think it's not really a goof. It's a limitation. The whole town, the Navarro's like town of people. When you look at them actually running away from the town, it's like 20 people tops. It just looks funny. It's like
Oh my
the town of Navarro, you my people. And
The
it's like
city.
it's like your cousins.
Yeah.
I think it's just a limitation of like the set sizes or something. I don't really care. I just thought it was funny, you know. Grief Karga's getting up on his rock to make a speech, and it's like they could all hear you when you stood on the ground because there's like 5 of them. Just it's very extra.
Apollo Creed be like that.
He do be like that.
Jacob. Spencer,
The
fuck up.
the scene where they fight the pirate guy is pretty well choreographed with all the spaceships. You have a pretty good idea of where everybody is, and him going down with his ship and exploding into a million pieces, shit exploding everywhere, looked really good. Also, I kind of like his prosthetics and like his face looked really good.
Yes. I don't understand why they only made this like a 1 episode bit.
I was just going to say
Because
that.
during the first episode, like that was what I was hedging bets on was like this season, the B plot would be about like a pirate invasion. And it's like, it's 1 episode. This just seems kind of weird.
It's just a place for the Mandos to be able to have a home on Navarro. It's just like, oh, we should have in the writer's room. It's probably like, oh, we should have like the Mandos like actually live somewhere.
You mean
Navarro? Oh, okay, yeah. How do we do that? Oh, let's just have pirates. And they're like, okay, yeah.
You mean have them live back on a real set instead of the desert set that's probably really expensive to use the stage tech to build every time?
Yeah.
It was nice to see them be like going back to Navarro and like they're not living in the sewers anymore. They're just there. They're getting their own little plot of land, but they're gonna go live in a commune. It'll be so much fun.
I got very scared in like the last scene of the Mandalorians with like Bo-Katan and other grandmommy,
the armorer.
The armorer, and I was like, this feels very tense, and I'm not gonna go further than that. I was gonna make something bad.
Wow.
If they were gonna make the armorer evil, like somehow, some way, like that was
She
kind
just
of
has that vibe.
She's a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I also, it was a very, very weird scene, but I like that there was some ambiguity to it. I also like that it's not just Bo-Katan and Din kind of like understanding each other better. It's like all of them, and she's like, all right, you're cringe and not based like us, but we respect you. And then go get all of the bitches. What?
Spencer, you have been talking over Jacob this entire time.
I'm
No, it's
trying.
okay.
That's why you look.
I just want to be able to say, like, I have a point too. I came up with something. Is the writer's room the name of Collin's emo band or doom metal band?
I'm sorry, what?
Is the writer's room the name of Collin's emo band or doom metal band?
Emo.
That's kind of what I thought too.
Yeah, the writer's room.
Wow.
It's where old white men orgies happen.
Okay.
That's a Ghost Fleet reference.
Damn. Go listen to our last episode about Ghost Fleet.
Yeah.
So, jumping back into the good bits, the good stuff, the good koosh. Collin, tell us about something that you've done.
I yesterday watched John Wick 4.
Wow.
Finally. Yeah, I finally watched it. I actually got to watch it with Wesley.
Wow.
And
Please no
it's
spoilers.
what's that?
Please no spoilers.
Oh, I'm not gonna spoil anything, I guess, but like it was good. I actually didn't really like it.
How do you say those things with a comma in the middle of them?
Because it's fun. It was still good. I just didn't really like it. I don't like the ending. The movie has one really good action scene that changed the format. I'm like, whoa, I'm super re-engaged in this movie because before I was really fucking bored because it's the same action shots over and over again. It's the same shit until that one scene. I'm like, this is really cool.
That one scene though
was awesome.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like, holy shit. And also, wow, they changed ammunition. Now it looks really cool. Finally. So we got 2 changes. And because of the ending, yeah.
But
and
Collin,
but
there were swords and there were Japanese men. You should have loved it.
Sure. I love seeing Ip Man in action. And it's so funny after the movie, Wesley was like, hey, is that actor actually blind? I'm like, no, it's just funny. If I had a nickel for every time this character played a blind man, I'd have 2 nickels. But it's weird that it happened twice, right?
It's so
but
you didn't like
that was cool how he adapted to things.
You didn't like Mr. Nobody?
No, I loved Mr. Nobody.
Okay.
I was like, wow, I really like this character. Like it's just cool to see that whole scene with him too.
Well, what about the fight with the
with Darth Maul?
No.
That's Darth Maul. With bodysuits. The fat man?
I don't think that was
I'm pretty sure that's
Ray Park.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't think it was Ray Park. It was Scott Adkins. You're wrong. Sorry. I really like that scene a lot.
That was really good.
I just wanted to do Penguin.
I know, it was literally just Penguin, but also it it's funny because it just kept happening. It kept going and going. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Is this a fucking D&D game? Because I can see the fucking nat ones constantly. And then the scene before the very last scene went so fucking long. It was way longer than any of the fight scenes, and it lasted way too long. It wasn't just for effect. This legitimately lasted way longer than it should have, and I was getting so annoyed, and I was actually falling asleep, legitimately closing my eyes. I'm like, oh shit, I'm falling asleep.
Wow.
And then it took me out of the movie because of how long it was. It's like, okay, why is this doing this?
I get what you're saying. Those were my critiques of 3, actually. Even though 4 is
No, it got worse than
longer.
3.
Yeah, 3 was kind of where I was like, all right, I'm at my breaking point on this one.
Yes.
The it's still incredible stuff. They're just flexing that they can do it. They're like, want to see a guy go down 100 sets of stairs? We did that for real. Watch it.
I know, like, some of that's cool and all. And also, I kind of thought it was weird that in that hotel they were using bow and arrows. I was like, for short range.
They're Japanese. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, but why aren't they using katanas?
They're Japanese. Don't worry about it.
It's just so.
What's your Collin rating? How many puppies is it?
My Collin rating, it is a 2 Wicks out of 4 Johns.
We need a Collin rating on 3 just to set a baseline.
On 3, 3 is a half Wick out of 4 Johns.
Wow.
1 is a 4 Wick out of 4 Johns.
Yes.
2 is a 3 Wick out of 4 Johns.
You killed me.
No, it's a 2.5. Sorry, it's a 2.5.
Oh.
Am I mixing 3 and 2? 2. Nope. No. Okay, hold on. Sorry. 1 is a 4 Johns out of 4 Wicks. 2 is a 2 Johns out of 4 Wicks. 3 is a half John out of 4 Wicks, and 4 is also a 2 John out of 4 Wicks.
That was incredibly weird, but okay.
Because there's 4 John Wick movies.
Is it bad that it kind of makes sense in our head now, though? We subconsciously understand the Collin rating system a little bit.
And I changed it from 7 to 4 for just John Wick
I know.
because there's only 4.
I know.
We were lied to. That is my summary of this movie is we were fucking lied to. I forgot that John Wick is a dad movie, and guess what? In the theater, Wesley and I were the youngest people in this theater by 40 years.
Seriously?
It was all old people
Maybe
and maybe a 50-year-old.
maybe just because I went on like a Thursday night at like 11 p.m., but like I was in a group of people my age.
I was Saturday 12:30.
In the midday.
Yep.
That would be why.
Yep.
Teenagers don't get up on weekends until like 3 p.m.
Well, I didn't sleep. I just went to the movie, and then I had 2 hours of sleep, and I was supposed to play D&D, but then Connor got sick, so it's been 3 weeks without D&D.
That's so sad. Damn.
Yep. Jacob, what have you been consuming?
I accidentally did a themed week. I had no intention of doing this, but the first book I'm going to review is Revival, Volume 1, You're Among Friends, written by Tim Seeley and illustrated by Mike Norton.
Go off, King. I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
I don't know what this
For
is.
one day in rural central Wisconsin, the dead came back to life, and now it's up to Officer Dana Cypress to deal with the media scrutiny, religious zealots, and government quarantine that has come with them. In a town where the living have to learn to deal with those who are supposed to be dead, Officer Cypress must solve a brutal murder, and everyone, alive or undead, is a suspect. The hit sellout series created by New York Times bestseller author Tim Seeley and Eisner-winning artist Mike Norton is collected with bonus material. So it's not really a zombie story because the dead people that are coming back to life are functioning exactly the same way as everybody remembers them before they died, which is an interesting twist. And there were a couple hints that something nefarious was happening behind the scenes. Like there was an old guy that came back and he was kind of an old man vegetable. He was shitting himself in his pants and he had to be spoon-fed all the time.
So it's Pet Cemetery.
So me for real.
Yes, Collin for real. But then near the end of the book, someone said these guys, these undead people aren't right, and I think they're just faking it. And then there was actually a really cool shot of like the guy staring dead-eyed at the TV and drooling, and then all of a sudden his eyes like flick over to them. It was kind of spooky, and it was done well. But that was pretty much the most notable thing I took from this book. It was very, very scattered. There were so many plot threads happening that it felt like some of them weren't touched on for an issue or two. And it just kept creating more and more history and drama with the characters that only complicated things. It felt like it went on for a long while without even taking care of the undead situation, and that's what the main character is supposed to be doing, is investigating what the heck is going on. Her sister comes back and they look very, 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 very similar. Like, so many times I got confused about who was who, which is not okay when it's a zombie screwing some other guy and you think it's the main character. And ugh.
The zombussy do be slurping.
I'm
You are
pretty
fucked.
sure. Let me fact check it real quick.
You see, there's this one movie that the reason why I'm saying that is because one time, I think I was like 11 or 12, one of the first movies I watched that was like really weird and was like supposed to be a horror comedy that I was really disturbed by. I don't remember what it was called, but it was like a zombie movie where they come back to life and it's like set around Christmas or whatever. I think I watched it on Netflix with a friend years ago. I don't know why, but it's the ending of the movie. The protagonist gets back with his girlfriend who's a zombie now. And they have sex in the back of his car, and like the windows are foggy. And and it's set to, I don't remember the song, but it's a really iconic. So I could sing it. I'm not going to, but I can't remember what the fuck the song is called. And for some reason, that it's so melodramatic and disgusting, and it stuck in my brain for like 15 years now, and I can't get it out. And I hate it. my brain is broken.
Did you say he was a zombie?
No, she was a zombie.
Oh,
but like she's
I'm thinking of a different movie.
Like they're zombie, but like she's definitely dead. And then they have he's like, I don't care. And then they have sex in his car. It's so weird.
Gross.
There's, like I said, there's a specific reason why I said that.
Okay.
Well, you go, Jacob.
This sounds like the schlock that I should know what you're talking about, but I don't.
If I wanted to find it, I could probably figure it out after a couple of days, but I don't want to.
I tried reading the next collected volume of these issues and I just lost interest. I think it was a mixture of the artwork. While it was consistent and it looked fine, it led to me being confused quite often about who was who. It's supposed to be a small town in Wisconsin. The cover actually says a rural noir. And it felt very, very, very heavily influenced by Fargo to the point of kind of ripping it off a little bit, I think. But I've never finished that movie. I don't know. It just didn't hit the spot. So I would have given it 2.5 stars, but Goodreads doesn't do half stars. So 3.
Damn. I have a feeling that the next thing is gonna be another Tim Seeley book. What is it with us and Tim Seeley stuff lately? It's really weird. Or it's gonna be another zombie
it with
thing.
Hack and Slash.
That's true. Or it's gonna be another zombie thing. So we'll see how that goes. Collin's looking at Legos. Oh, is that the trend run?
I don't know. I think it's custom.
Definitely looks like an ion cannon. Oh my god, when you do assembly videos, speed them the fuck up.
No, that's an entrance. That's not a cannon.
Never mind.
Okay.
Upside down.
Whatever.
Speaking of Star Wars, though.
Oh, okay.
I read Han Solo Imperial Cadet.
Oh.
It was written by Robbie Thompson with illustrations by David Nakayama and Leonard Kirk. It's Han Solo in the Imperial Academy. So the first couple pages is a recap for the first 5 minutes of Solo.
No shit.
I know. Kira be looking cute as always, and then this whole book takes place in that gap of time between him getting enlisted and then him on when he's in the mud planet with just everything.
Yeah,
in
Mud
between.
Planet.
Yeah, mud planet. That time period of like what the fuck happened at the academy. I'm kind of curious if some of this was excluded from the script because Solo was originally written and directed by
I'm Han Solo. I'm Han Solo. I'm Han Solo. This is what you guys get because
I will start doing the dance.
fucking word. I hate you guys for showing me that fucking video.
I wanted to do it, but I didn't want to rely on my shitty Wi-Fi.
Lord and Miller were originally making Solo. They wrote the script, and it was never the script was never released, and the movie wasn't finished under them. It wasn't even the principal photography wasn't even finished under their direction. And then Ron Howard came in to mostly rework the entire film. So I'm curious if some of these ideas were like present in an earlier version of the script because Star Wars does that very frequently, especially with the animated series. They'll just make a book about the leftover scripts, which I think is a good thing to do. It's just Han meeting a ragtag group of weirdos who all have different reasons why they're enlisted in the Empire.
Why they're weirdos.
Yeah, why they're weirdos. You got a woman, you got twins, one's a girl, one's a boy, and then you got the asshole. And then by the end of the book, him and the asshole are kind of friends. It's like, it's fine. There's much interesting stuff here. I would have rather seen it on screen, but it's all right. It's fine.
You're fine.
Thanks. There isn't much there. Like even it's just they fight amongst each other and then they're like, no, actually we gotta pull our shit together. And then Han passive aggressively does other people's like duties because it makes them upset or whatever. You know, he'll go scrub the toilets in the middle of the night to piss people off. Like weird shit. It's fine. I just don't. The overarching plot here is very thin. This is 7 issues. They're all very small. I think they might have been released digitally, like the half-size issue, like the 20-page issues that Marvel does online a lot. The art is fine. Nothing really stood out. I really like the Imperial like cadet uniforms. It's just an aesthetic I like. The thing that was a bit more interesting was this also includes the Beckett one-shot, which is like a 45-page one-shot about Beckett and his crew before they meet Han. And I found that, at least for the most part, more interesting. It's framed as like this big Western thing, because of course it is. And it's like old gunslinger stuff. And it's just Beckett doing normal shenanigans. Nothing pertinent comes out of it. There's no emotional revelations about his character. It's just me reading dialogue in Woody Harrelson's funny voice, which is fine. I thought it was better than the rest of it. That part was written by Jerry Duggan, and it was illustrated by Will Sliney, who's one of the illustrators for Star Wars comics I don't usually like that much, but I thought this was a better thing. I also appreciated its inclusion inside this collected edition, like the Rogue One adaptation, including the Cassian and K2SO one shot. It just makes sense. Duh. It is all right. I think I bought it for cover price at Jetpack for about $16. I would say sale. It's worth a read like once.
Mhm.
It's disposable. It's fine. It's not boring. It's just all right. And then
It's just fine.
It's just fine, and that's okay.
So I watched the Amazon Prime exclusive show. I watched season 1 of Vox Machina.
Wow.
So Vox Machina is a animated version of the first campaign for Critical Role's D&D game. And it follows, it follows characters named Percy, who uses a pepper box, which is basically a 6 round barrel. We have Vex and Vax, which are twins, brother and sister, a ranger and a rogue. Also, by the way, Percy is a fighter who has a gun. Then we have the barbarian Grog, who just wants to murder. We have a cleric named Pike. They also Pickle, and she is a gnome. Yeah, she's a gnome. Oh, I forgot. Grog is like a giant, technically. Then we have Scanlan, who is a gnome bard who wants to bed everyone in the land. And I swear there's one more character, but I cannot. Oh, there is one more. I can't even fucking I think her name is Keyleth. Keyleth, she's a druid. And I don't remember her basically because she does like nothing through the entire show. So these characters are mercenaries for hire, and they are hired to defeat this blue dragon that no one has been able to defeat before, and no one's ever really seen a dragon. And they're doing it for the capital of the continent, basically. And they said, if you do this, we will give you treasure. And they're like, oh, we're gonna do it. And they find out they kill it. They kill the dragon. And basically, the dragon was one of the people on the like capital's council for the war chamber or whatever. That happened in like the first 2 episodes or the first episode or something. And you're like, okay, that's kind of lame. But the treasure is they have a house now and they live there. But the whole overarching like story for the season is basically surrounded around Percy and his past, how he invented the pepper box, and where he comes from. Because the main villain is basically Dracula and his witch wife, who want to bring about the Whispered One, I think the god is. And they took over the land that Percy's family were the basically king and queen of. And they killed his entire family. And so he wants revenge on them. And the basically demon that controls Percy sometimes when he gets really angry wants to kill everyone that has wronged Percy. So it's basically just following Percy and the Vox Machina crew. But it mainly focuses on Percy and Pickle, because Pickle is trying to find her way through life. So basically, well, I'm saying basically a lot, sorry. Half of the show, she's not with Vox Machina. She is in a temple trying to reach out to her god again. And she comes in last minute in like the third to last episode and is like, oh, I'm attuned with my god again. I can defeat everyone, which was kind of weird. But yeah, it's really good. The show's still really good, even though it has some weird parts. Like Keyleth doesn't really do anything. Grog is super funny because everyone's saying good day, but they have an accent. So he doesn't, he's like, oh, bidet, and shit like that whenever he's like greeting people in one scene. But it's a lot of fun. It's a good show. I give it 6 nipples out of 7 tarot cards.
Do you have to know anything about Critical Role or the podcast or
Nope.
the team or anything to watch the
Nope.
show?
You can just watch the
Wow.
show because it's also edited, meaning like there are certain scenes that you see in the show that weren't exactly played out in the campaign because they make it better for the story. Like they're like, okay, all these things, they can happen, but we have to rework things so it makes sense as like a standalone story, which is very good.
I feel like we've reached the level of Inception, whereas that's just too much.
Too much?
It's a show adaptation of a podcast of people playing a game who are actors of a game, and it's like
and shows and animes.
D&D is the point is to make a story. Like,
yeah,
I get recording it for a podcast, duh.
It's a video.
But like,
what's your point? What are you trying to say? It doesn't make sense.
The point of isn't basically the point of D&D because you can do fucking anything you want because it's a whole thing. Then why make a TV show about the thing you already did? Like, just make a TV show.
No, because okay, so the whole point is because I'm sorry, Jacob, I have to take this over. The whole point is that you are the DM creates the world, you as the characters find a path through it. And then you make it, and then they decide, oh, this is actually a really good story. Let's animate it. Because it actually is very cohesive. We just have to do some touch up. Instead of before.
How I took Spencer's question was like, how many times can you recycle the same content?
It's not really recycled. It's an animated format. It gets people interested into Critical Role, and it's more digestible than watching Critical Role.
One eternity later.
Jacob, what have you got?
Continuing on with my theme, I read Marvel Zombies, written by Robert Kirkman and penciled by Sean Phillips. It came out originally in December of 2005. Everyone is undead for the most part. Everybody is a zombie in the Marvel universe. It opens up with a bunch of Avengers hunting down Magneto, and he puts up a good fight, but he eventually gets caught and eaten. And right off the bat, it feels like a very untraditional zombie story because all of the zombies are sitting there eating Magneto and having full-blown cognizant conversations as if they were their human forms, but they're dead zombies with huge physical, let's say, ailments. Like, this book is disgusting. It's gross. The characters rip limbs off of themselves because they've had holes shot or punched or burned through them. So it's like a foot will be hanging by a thread, and that character will just grab themselves by the foot and rip off the thread and just like throw the foot away. And usually that would be good, but this book just had such a weird vibe to it. They tried to explain it away a little bit by saying once they feed, their hunger is satiated a little bit, and they can think a little bit clearer. But I didn't see really a change in the conversation when they were hungry or when they had fed. It felt like a lame explanation that they didn't really stick to. There's a vicious the story gets a cycle of like, ooh, we found a last survivor, let's hunt him down and kill him and eat him, and then that's the end of the issue. And there's only 5 issues. Ant-Man is trying to find a cure after he's fed, but nothing that doesn't go anywhere. There's huge sequel bait because Black Panther had been caught and was being held hostage by Ant-Man. Ant-Man would like swing by and eat a piece of Black Panther and like just to get a clear mind and try to work on his science experiments. But again, that plot thread didn't go anywhere. So Black Panther escapes and he finds a group of survivors that the huge group of zombies had missed, and they go up to space, and that's kind of the end of that. Oh no. Years and years and years pass, and they come back down to the planet, and everything seems dead, maybe. And then that was the end of that. So maybe they repopulate the planet, but probably not, because there's 2 or 3 series that follow up on this. I don't know. It felt sloppy. It was boring. It was really weird. It wasn't anything traditional zombies, which should be a good thing. But it just didn't make sense. There was no zombie logic to it.
Will you be
I
continuing
got-
with any of the other sequel series?
I don't know if I can get my hands on them for the cheap or free, but I wasn't really thrilled with this. I got both books for free through a library. I gave this one, I would have given this one the same 2.5 stars, but I rounded up to 3 on Goodreads. There's a Marvel Zombies omnibus on
It's not complete because
Amazon.
they keep making more sequel series.
That, but also it doesn't include any of the prequel stuff that led to this. This spun out of Ultimate Fantastic Four, and there's none of that. I think there was a free comic book day thing that happened that right before this happened. There's a bunch of stuff missing from it from before that should be in it. So, not great.
Rip. So I read another Star Wars book. Obi-Wan, a Jedi's porpoise. Like the turtle porpoise. It's a 5-issue.
Wait. Go back. I'm pretty sure a porpoise is like a dolphin, you dumbass.
You mean a tortoise?
Oh, you guys are so funny when you get freaked out.
Wow.
You do that on purpose.
Maybe.
I fucking hate you for that. You literally led that up just so one of us could say, "Did you do that on purpose?" That was so many layers, dude. What? Why even do that? So many layers. Just head up ass.
There's a lot of
Why does
intestines.
he
you
get
gotta
credit for layered jokes and I don't?
It is true. Jacob actually tries to be funny. I just pull shit out of my ass.
No, it's because I get more. I'm sorry. I get more entertained when it's like stupid layers. But he got me to say, "Did you do that on purpose?"
I baited you.
Yeah, he got me to go that many layers to say.
Where my
So what you're telling me, Collin, is that he is the masturbator.
He is the masturbator.
I am. So I read Obi-Wan: A Jedi's Purpose. It's a 5-issue miniseries, like basically all Star Wars books, set all over the place. There's a framing device presented of Obi-Wan on Tatooine, where we've never seen him before, as an old man, like 10 minutes before Luke shows up, basically, just reminiscing. There's like a snow.
Tatooine.
There's a sandstorm, and he's like, "Ooh, the universe is angry. I can feel it.
I can feel it in my nutsack.
Yeah, he can feel Darth Vader letting out a big fart.
Leaping out a big fart.
Shut up. He's kind of seeing the future, sort of. So he's writing stuff down in his diary, which we actually ended up seeing in the main Star Wars comic a little bit here and there. Was Luke going through Obi-Wan's journal?
Hot.
So this is written by Christopher Cantwell. The framing device, basically, visuals were done by Phil Noto. One of those Star Wars artists for comics I don't really like, but it was fine here. At the beginning and end of each issue, there'd be a little bookend of just Obi-Wan being like, and that was the lesson I learned from this adventure. Anyways, see you next week, kids. So the first one is him as a youngling trying to convince one of his friends, another youngling, to like not run away from the Jedi. The second one is him and Qui-Gon on a like a mining station, I think, trying to beat a werewolf. It's not really a werewolf, but it's basically a werewolf.
A werewolf.
Man, bear, pig.
Being.
The third one is during the Clone Wars with the clones. And then the fourth one is with Anakin on an Anakin adventure. And then the fifth one is just him as like a young as an young old man. Him on Tatooine age.
Oh my
but
fuck.
early Tatooine age.
An old young man.
Yes. It's him rescuing like an injured stormtrooper and being like, "I won't kill you. Here's some milk." I really liked this book. I like the anthology nature of it. I like that it actually all focuses on one thing. It's Obi-Wan kind of reminiscing about different lessons he's learned. Some of them are more profound than others. The one issue that was kind of lackluster out of the other ones, at least by comparison, was Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon fighting the werewolf. It was really funny because it's like a werewolf, but in Star Wars. But they nearly killed like an innocent man because he's basically a werewolf. Just lessons about life and humanity. The one that I liked the most was him and the clones. There was another general from some planet that they had worked with during the Clone Wars who basically went crazy after going through so many conflicts and seeing so many of his own men die. He ended up being like basically a cult leader, running around in like a loincloth, whipping people with a spine. It's really weird and gross. But it was a big like.
That sounds really hot.
No. I think that was definitely the better one. I really like the nature of this book, and I hope that they do more stuff like this. It's a lot less focused on where did Han Solo get his blaster. It's more what's the other random stuff that Obi-Wan went through. It's like the Age of Republic or Age of Empire or Age of Rebellion, like those books where they're an anthology of different characters we'll never actually get a full series about. It's just little nuggets, and I like that. This nearly got like a 5 out of 5 for me. There's a different artist for each one of the issues other than the framing device. I'm not going to go through their names, mostly because I will butcher all of them. There are a bunch of people I'm not familiar with, but it's really, really good. Yeah. Again, cover price probably to like 16, 17 bucks. Definitely worth it. This is one of the best Star Wars canon Disney Marvel comic books for sure. It might be the best one so far. Minor criticisms here and there, some nitpicking type stuff. It's just it balances being fun and silly with also being moderately profound for a Star Wars property. Do you know what else is profound?
My
Guys.
butthole.
I was just flicking through the channels on TV and I found drag racing and they're using cars. I thought it was going to be a bunch of queens running in high heels.
Surprised Spencer wasn't in that show.
Honestly, I bet Jacob would actually like watching like RuPaul's Drag Race.
I feel like Jacob would also watch that. I feel like he would, and I feel like Spencer would be in that drag race.
I would not. I actually really don't like drag aesthetically speaking. It's annoying.
He obviously doesn't either. That's why I said it, you dumbass.
I'm not joking. I feel like Jacob would actually watch it. He just wouldn't tell anybody. He'd be like, you know what? They're fabulous. And he would love it.
I don't feel like I feel like if he did watch that and he enjoyed it, the reason that he would enjoy it is because he's like, I bet Spencer watches this.
You know what else is profound?
Our Patreon.
I was going to say Uranus.
No, that's the pro state.
You know what else is profound? Our Saint Taints.
If you'd like to support us financially, please go over to patreon.com/dimecomicbros network. We have a bunch of different tiers where you can be one of our little simpy peoples. We have different fun things. Collin ripped ass. I hate you.
No, I didn't.
He's trying not to laugh.
Mm-hmm.
You're weird.
Mm-hmm.
There are a bunch of different tiers with different cool rewards, stickers. We give you a verbal thank you every episode. So a thank you to Jeff Lawrence and Caitlin. You also get exclusive access to Dime Comic Bros Happy Hour, which is a little additional segment we do after all of our podcasts, just shooting the shit. Lately, we've been working out a bunch of D&D stuff, just whatever assorted crap we're up to, as well as early access to all of our podcasts by a few days and some other stuff.
Google says the radius of Uranus is 15,759 miles.
He's trying not to break out into laughter. Google says, my mom said that the radius of Uranus is the size of your mom.
The actual radius of Uranus is a Coke can. I made sure it was that wide. Also, a big thank you to our partners over at Jetpack Comics and
Why are your butthole jokes so funny? We're fucking children. No, we are children. We're not fucking children. Oh, please put like all of this on the happy hour segment.
That's the hardest I've laughed in a long time.
It's our Jared Leto moment. It's not a costume, it's a lifestyle.
You fucking dragged me.
Ah,
He's crying.
my sides hurt. We're appropriating Jared Leto's culture too hard. Dude, he's gonna send us use condoms.
15,759 miles.
Use condoms in a what?
His on-set shenanigans.
Wait, he sent used condoms?
That was a rumor.
I know he sent a rat.
Yeah, and bullets and whatever other weird stuff.
15,759 miles is the radius of Uranus.
Come on. Come on. Let's get this fucking over with. I want to get this fucking over with.
Girls in Jared Leto's basement also said.
Oh, God. I want all our patrons to know that I in my heart of hearts, in my anus of anus, I call them our Saint Taints. They are our Saint Taints.
The deepest bowels of your heart.
The beepest the beepest bowels of Uranus. They will be known as our Saint Taints.
How many Jared Letos could you fit on Uranus?
Please shut up. I want to go get Taco Bell. I'm hungry.
A big thank you to our partners at Jetpack Comics and Games in downtown Rochester, New Hampshire. Over at the Mega Store, they have all sorts of nerd stuff you can imagine. Comics and games to start. They also got video games. They got posters. They got T-shirts. Funko Poops.
It's a fit in Uranus. I fucking hate you.
Most uncomfortable butt plug.
Keep going. We're not clipping this. This is staying. That one's staying.
Next week is an animated DC movie that we are still arguing about. Please come back and thank you for listening. Goodbye.
We are not arguing about it. Don't gaslight me.
That's funny. Gotham by Gaslight.
Oh, that's funny.
But we're not doing that one, so suck a D.
Don't tempt me. I just might.
Sunny D.
Okay.
Uranus.
My sides hurt. Okay, we'll be
So on a scale of Uranus to Jared Leto's, how many Jared Leto's could you fit in Uranus? On a scale of used condoms to dead rats,
Spencer's
how many
bald
mason
head
jars
is
do you
turning
think you
red.
could fit in Jared Leto's Uranus?
Spencer's bald head has turned red.
I know. He's so fucking red right now. He can't even use the fucking mouse. He's not even looking at the screen. He's trying to use it.
very red. Like
Fuck. Eat my ass.
no.
Eat it. So I was thinking that after regular podcast, Spencer and I go grab Taco Bell, come back here, eat Taco Bell, and then we do happy hour.
That'll work.
Okay, cool.
He's so adventurous lately. You
No,
still
I-
haven't started doing the actual work, have you?
Nope.
Oh, now do it. You can tell based on the mood he's in. He says we're both cringe and gay.
Okay.
You know who else is
Now-
cringe and gay?
Your mom.
Go into the fuck room and do the fuck thing.
Ew, no.